the world is on the verge of exploding. Trump threatens China with tariffs reaching up to 100%, and the American markets collapse in just a few hours. Bitcoin crashes, and the stock exchanges are burning. The oil market is becoming unstable. The key question today is Trump really lost his mind to this extent to make such a shocking decision? Or is he hiding the century's biggest economic deal with China? What if we claimed everything happening now, from Gaza and Ukraine passing through Taiwan and so on, is connected to this exact move with China? What if these tariffs were just a front for a very deep plan, a plan aimed at changing the entire world order? Today we are truly living in a new Cold War, but this time it's not with missiles, cannons, or other weapons. It's only with chips and rare natural minerals. How is that? Stay tuned. Dear viewers, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. Welcome to our program today in this renewed meeting, God willing, as part of our series of episodes. The American President Donald Trump announced yesterday unexpectedly that he will impose a 100% tariff on Chinese products starting from the beginning of next month, November. It should be noted that America currently imposes a 30% tariff on Chinese products. Trump said that this rate will become 100% starting next month. Is this possible? After everyone was expecting a meeting between Trump and the Chinese president, Trump comes out with these threats, even though everyone was talking about a possible meeting between the two sides at the end of this month. October, specifically in South Korea, which will host the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum Summit. So today Trump comes out with these threats. Why is that? Because the agreement between America and China is still being worked on to this day, meaning that no agreement has been reached yet for an actual meeting, and Trump is now taking advantage of these remaining days. Trump is now pressuring and threatening China by raising these tariff rates. What did Trump say? He said that there is still time to back down from this decision before the date of this summit in South Korea, which means that the plan is just pressure. He said, we will see what happens in the coming days, meaning there are negotiations and an agreement is coming, but it is not ready yet. In other words, we will see if China will meet America's demands or not. So this is the American threat. These statements that came from Trump came only a few hours after Trump criticized these new Chinese laws. The Chinese laws that require companies exporting rare natural minerals to obtain a special government permit before carrying out any export activity. Therefore, they are subject to delays, rejection, and so on. So, just so everyone knows, China produces 70% of the world's rare natural minerals. As everyone knows, these minerals are used in various future industries, technological and military industries, and so on. These are very important minerals, essential minerals for industrial and technological development. China decided to restrict rare mineral exports to keep them for itself. Why? So it can dominate the world in technological industries? But of course, Trump didn't like this decision. He wants to get these minerals that are needed today. That refers to a group of American factories which America will need in the near future, since some major factories will require them. There are big plans and there are investments coming to America in the coming days. And these factories will be specialized in such industries, technological products and equipment and so on. That means they will strongly need such minerals. But here, before anything else, when Trump says he will impose tariffs on China at such a very high rate, I mean 100%, can he really do that? Isn't there an impact on America before anything else? So today, for example, just this statement that Trump made, just this statement alone, caused a strong shock in the American financial markets. It had an impact on oil prices, on digital currencies, and so on. Just yesterday, we saw that the Dow Jones Index dropped by almost 2% and the Standard & Poor's Index dropped by nearly 3%. We also see that the Nasdaq Index, dropped by up to 3.5%. Bitcoin also dropped by more than 12%, which is a very large percentage. The rest of the cryptocurrencies also dropped by up to 19%, 20%, 25%, and 27%. It depends on each currency. We're talking about a large percentage, and this happened only in the past 24 hours, and it happened just because of a statement from Trump. So, China has banned the export of rare natural minerals to America, and America also responded by banning the export of electronic chips to China. After that, China refused to buy soybeans, or what is called soja, in Morocco. China refused to buy this agricultural product from America. The farmers in America were greatly affected by this decision, and then Trump came out. Why were they affected? Because they couldn't find any international markets at all. They couldn't find anyone to buy this crop from them in the large quantities that China used to buy. After that, Trump came out with a promise that he would support them financially so they wouldn't be harmed. So now there's a major trade war between China and America, and today Trump is escalating things even more with this threat that he will impose tariffs at the rate of 100%. Is this possible? We're asking this question. Why? We're asking this question. Is this possible? Because these high tariffs would destroy the American economy before they destroy the Chinese economy. So who will be affected here by this decision? Who will be affected? It's the American citizen who will suffer from inflation. Hundreds of products that come from China, for example, if their price was, say, $100, it will become $200. Then a product that used to cost $10 will become $20. There will be major inflation in America. Is it possible for Trump to destroy his popularity or inside America with this decision? And today, as everyone knows, America is soon approaching new elections, the midterm elections, elections in which Trump's party, the Republican Party, wants to achieve a sweeping victory. So how will he achieve this victory with this decision? The truth is that Trump is only threatening, putting pressure in order to get more concessions from China. Even though the world today is talking about Gaza, about the Gaza agreement, about the flotilla of steadfastness, about the Russian-Ukrainian war. However, at the same time, there are negotiations taking place quietly between China and America. China wants to reclaim and annex the island of Taiwan. As I explained to you in the previous episode, China is offering $1 trillion in investments to America in exchange for that. But America has other demands, big demands as well, that it is asking from China. The most important and strongest of these demands is to distance itself from Russia and from the idea of establishing a new multipolar world order. America wants China to be within the circle of American policy, just like most countries in the world. So there are negotiations happening under the table, of course. Now Trump wants to put more pressure on China and is threatening it with these tariffs. Will he impose them or not? Honestly, there are losses for both sides. China's independent policy, its closeness to Russia, this dangerous alliance that is forming today with Russia and North Korea and so on, and its constant talk about the new multipolar world order. All of these things, of course, threaten America. I wouldn't say they worry America, but rather they threaten America. This is not to mention its significant military development, both in terms of quantity and quality, in numbers as well as in military technological advancement. Even the news that talks about the Chinese Navy surpassing the American Navy in terms of numbers, this also causes fear, it causes panic. And this news causes great concern for America. In fact, it threatens America. How is it that America, which has dominated the world for decades, is now threatened? Because of what? Because of this enormous naval power that intervened in different parts of the world. In Asia, in Africa, it intervened in Iraq, in Latin America, and so on. But today, It is declining. With this tremendous progress, I mean, the Chinese naval forces today, if America currently has about 440 ships deployed all over the world, China has reached an incredible level today. It now has more than 754 warships. What are we talking about here? We're talking about frigates, destroyers, aircraft carriers, and so on. Just 20 years ago, China had only 220 ships. Today, it has more than 754 ships. This means that China is preparing to dominate the world, preparing to take America's place in the world. This is very serious for America. It threatens America, threatens American influence, threatens America's dominance over the world, and so on. It threatens the world order that America established. So Trump wants by any means today to achieve a historic agreement with China, making China a part of American policy, just like most countries in the world. In exchange for what? In exchange for granting it the island of Taiwan? Trump really does want the $1 trillion that China offered as investments, but he wants something more important, something more strategic. Right now, he's just putting on pressure. If Trump wanted to impose these tariffs for purely economic reasons that benefit America and so on, he would have imposed them directly without setting a specific date for them. After a few days, especially since this date comes after the summit that will be held in South Korea, but he hasn't taken any action to implement this decision yet. It is believed that China will make concessions to America during these remaining days before the deadline. The conflict between China and America has now entered a very dangerous stage, and the confrontation between the two sides is expanding significantly. China will not back down from its plans. China is standing from a position of comfort, and China is standing from a position of strength. The current international situation helps it a lot. Today it has reached very advanced levels. No one in the world can put pressure on it now. No one in the world can bring China to its knees now. On the other hand, if we talk about America, America is truly in a difficult situation. There are internal conflicts and there are conflicts with all international powers. Today, as we see with Europe, with India, with Russia, with Ukraine, with the liberal system, with Venezuela and so on, it has many issues it wants to solve, while China has only one issue, the Taiwan issue. Even its conflict with India is getting closer to a solution. There has been progress. Notice, we have recently seen an unprecedented historic rapprochement between China and India. Trump, perhaps after he saw this, how the policy of imposing tariffs is paying off with some countries like Canada, Mexico, the European Union, and so on. This European Union has recently accepted all of Trump's conditions. So it's clear that Trump wants to repeat the same scenario with China. He thinks that China will also give in, but China is not the European Union, China is not Mexico, and it's not Canada. I mean, Trump even failed to bring India to its knees. So will he succeed in bringing China to its knees? Today there is talk that China has started to reduce its oil imports from Russia. This news might cause fear. Is this being done to fulfill Trump's wishes? Is it according to a certain deal that was made, or is it for other reasons? No one knows right now. But maybe this Chinese response is what made Trump escalate against China today, because he thinks that China has started to give in, started to back down, started to be afraid. So today, Trump might really want to impose tariffs on China at this rate, 100% to support his own local industries. But that's not the real goal. Even if investments in the industrial sector increase, that's still not the real goal. Maybe today this decision will lead to disastrous results for America, because the timing is not right at all for this decision. When we talk about the upcoming elections, we're talking about the direct impact of this decision on the American citizen. It's difficult. I don't think Trump will take that risk, as it's just pressure he's putting on China. Will China give in? I don't think so. But no one really knows what kind of deals are being made behind the scenes, and everything will only become clear in the next few days. How could this conflict end? Share your answers in the comments below and subscribe by clicking the like button.